Welcome. These are grammar lessons for Year 3 and 4 children, and this is Week 6, Lesson 3. Your learning objective for this lesson is to draft an informal letter. So by the end of the lesson, you will be able to recall the features of an informal letter. You will also use your mind map to help you draft your own letter, and you will even use the waggle to help you with your writing. So yesterday we looked at the features of an informal letter. Before we start this lesson, I just want you to pause the video for a moment and see if you can remember everything that was on that list before we go through them together. I wonder if you can remember them all. So, our features of an informal letter were: the sender's address should be at the top of our letter, along with the date. We should also start our letter with a greeting, which is usually dear, followed by the person's name. And in our letter, we would use chatty language. We would use the first name of the person we were writing to, or even the nickname of that person, and we might use abbreviations as well. There would be questions in our letter. There would be personal news in our letter and well wishes. And at the end of our letter, we would finish with the sender's name or signature. I wonder if you could remember those things on that list. I hope so, because they're going to be very important today. Now, I had a go at drafting my own letter, and I wonder, while you watch this short video of me writing, whether or not you can see which of these features I've managed to include. We know that when we write a letter, we need to start by popping the address and the date at the top right-hand corner here. So when we do that, we start with the house number, and then we write the name of the road. And underneath that, we would write the town and perhaps the postcode. And then underneath that, we would write the date. And all that belongs at the top here on the right-hand side. And then we come over to the left to start our letter. So we begin with a greeting. We know that we start with a letter with dear. And because I'm writing to you, I'm going to write dear Year 3, 4 children. But obviously you will write the name of the person that you're writing to. So it might be your grandma or your auntie or your mum or your dad. You put their name here and you follow it with a comma. And then you come underneath to start the rest of your letter. And we start with a capital letter. Even though we've got a comma here, not a full stop, we still need a capital letter here. And I'm going to start my letter with a question. How are you? If you remember yesterday, my plan had lots of questions on it, and I'm going to begin with one because it's really kind to ask after the person you're writing to at the beginning of your letter. And then really what we want to do is to write a little bit of an introduction to say why we're writing, really. So I'm going to say, I hope you are all well, to begin with. Because again, like I say, it's kind to wish our reader well. I hope you are all well. I can't believe that it has been nearly 2 months since we were last in school together. And remember, this is an informal letter, so you can have a chatty style, kind of like the way you would talk to them if they were really here. How are you? And obviously our question's got a question mark. I hope you are all well. I can't believe that it has been nearly 2 months since we were last in school together. Now I'm going to start my new paragraph with a little bit of news. We said yesterday that the point of writing a letter is so that you can give the reader some news about yourself. So let's go. I thought I would have lots of free time, but actually I have been busier than ever. I have found a little bit of time for some fun with my family. Remember, the news needs to be personal. With my family, especially in the sunny weather. Let me just read that back through, make sure it sounds okay. I thought I would have lots of free time, but actually I have been busier than ever. I have found a little bit of time for some fun with my family, though, especially in the sunny weather. And remember, this is just a draft, so if you make mistakes or you realise it doesn't make sense, now's the time to make your corrections. And I'm going to finish this paragraph, or continue this paragraph, with another question. I had lots of questions on my plan. I'm going to ask you, have you done anything fun with your families recently? And finish with a question mark. And then I would continue to write some of the news that I had on my plan. If we have a look back at my plan, it's just here. You can see I had lots of news to talk about, and those would be in my next few paragraphs. I'm going to stop writing for the moment now and let you have a go of your own letter, and you can see my completed letter later.
So hopefully you could see that I included lots of those features in the draft of the letter that I showed you there. I certainly started my letter by writing the address in the top right hand corner along with the date. I started my letter with a greeting. I said, "Dear Year 3-4 children." And throughout my letter I used chatty language. Now, I couldn't use all of your names, but I did say Year 3-4 children, which would count as an abbreviation. I asked lots of questions in my letter. I was about to give you some more personal news. I just began that. And I wished you well. I started my letter by wishing you well, saying I hope that you were all well. And the only thing that you didn't see, because I didn't get to the end of my draft, was my name or signature at the end of the letter. But the rest of the things on that list of features I managed to include in just the beginning of my letter. But if we look at one of my completed drafts, you'll be able to see that here. Okay, I wish you well, I say take care and be good, and then I sign my name at the end. Now you can see from this photograph that one of my drafts of that letter was extremely messy. I went back and made lots of different changes. I added some information here where I thought I needed to explain a little bit more. I've changed some sentences, corrected some sentences. This is definitely a first draft, not a final copy. But when I did my draft, I used my plan to make sure I included all my ideas, and I also used that checklist of features to make sure that I had included everything in my letter that I needed. Your task for today is to write a first draft of your letter. Hopefully yesterday you planned out your ideas, and today you can use that mind map to help you organise your ideas into a letter. Remember to use paragraphs to group your ideas together, and also remember that this time you're not planning, you are writing, so you should be using full sentences. However, it is a draft and you can go back and make changes and improvements as you go. Use the waggle if you are stuck. Tomorrow we will do some more editing and we will write your letters out in best on Friday. Good luck and see you soon.